Okay, hello everyone. I'm so happy to see all of you here. And actually, it's my third META-INF Atlassian day in a row. And I'm so happy to see all the Atlassian fans and ecosystem members again. I'm Natalie. I'm a product manager of the table filtering charts for Confluence app. And let me say a few words about our company at the beginning. So Stiltsoft is a platinum marketplace partner, and more than 12,000 of customers worldwide are enhancing their experience of using Atlassian products with the help of 20 plus apps that we have been developing and supporting for more than 12 years for now. Has everyone already tried any of our apps? Maybe table filtering charts for Confluence. That is the most popular one. Okay, thank you. Thank you for trusting us. And a short note before I start. In the presentation description, you could see that the information applies both to cloud and data center hosting types. And I confirm that all the use cases that I'm going to show you today work in both hosting types, and also all the attendees, beginners and experienced Atlassian users will find something helpful today. Let's get back to the topic of my presentation, as I couldn't wait to tell you about the ways to maintain your business processes in ITSM area in Confluence. So Confluence is an indispensable tool when we are talking about knowledge base management. And it's also vital to connect your Jira service projects with FAQs or documentation stored in Confluence. But Confluence also does a job when it comes to building business processes of your company in the ITSM area. And today we will take a look at three key steps of this that include collecting service-related data, combining them, transforming, and finally analyzing data in Confluence. So let's start with the first step, that is collecting service-related data. And here we'll learn how to create a handy service catalog in Confluence, how to display Jira information in Confluence, how to output dynamic data from external databases, of course in Confluence, and the last case is how to create a table directly in Confluence, but using a rich functionality of spreadsheet editors. So the first use case is a schematic depiction of the real customer's use case, as all the cases that I'm going to show you today. And it's about service catalog. So when starting to streamline business process, finding and listing all the information related to this process may be challenging. So first, we gathered all the information about all the services, tools that our teams support, team members who are in charge of these processes and services. We gathered all this information in one list. Here you can see this list in a Google Sheet, and our goal is to transfer this table to Confluence and make it easy to deal with. So for this purpose, we just create the same table, let's say transfer it to a Confluence page as a regular table, but enhanced with a couple of our macros. Here you can see that we can see all the services distributed by service classes, categories. We can quickly filter the service to find the details, the project, and quickly go to Jira to the corresponding project when we find it. And this second table displays who of our teammates are in charge of which service. We placed our source table with all the information about all the services inside the table toolbox macro. This macro provides a whole set of tools to process table data in Confluence. Let's say it's one macro that rules them all. Inside this macro, we can see that our source table is wrapped with two features. The first is a pivot table macro that groups values like in Excel. And the second is a table filter macro that allows us to filter all the services to find the ones that we need. So the next case is the most easy and quick, and this is outputting Jira data with the help of the native Confluence Jira issues macro. So we insert this macro, specify the JQL, set the columns to display, and as a result we have a table with all the tickets, issues from our Jira in Confluence. And in return, all our macros can work with this table and to use it further for analytics purposes, for sharing data purposes, and so on. So the next is the case. Let's assume that we have information about our customers in an external third-party CRM system. And in this case, this is a table spreadsheet output. This is Google, of course, spreadsheet output. And it doesn't matter because the key features that we require here is that this service should know how to send data, how to push data somewhere via URL in the CSV or JSON formats. So in these cases, we will be able to receive this data in Confluence and display a dynamic table. For this purpose, we use a table from CSV macro. We specify the URL. In this case, actually, the outputting from the attachment is another option, but in this case, it won't be dynamic. We set the authentication parameters if needed, and as a result, we have a table that you can see and work with in Confluence. Not edit, because all the data come from external CRM, but you can use it further, and you will see how we will try to use it. Okay. And the last example here, the last example of collecting service-related data is creating your own tables, but in a different way. Our app provides the table spreadsheet macro that works directly in Confluence. You can insert it and create a table and use all the most familiar and popular features for formatting tables and values, a couple of hundreds of formulas, conditional formatting, and so on. All the spreadsheets are stored on Confluence pages, and needless to say that you can export and import data in Excel or CSV formats. So this is for those who misses Excel features in Confluence. Okay, so now we've gathered 4 different sources of data, and we can move to the second chapter of my presentation, which is combining this data. And in this case, we will use two sources for information from the previous slides that are the dynamic Jira issues macro and the dynamic table from CSV macro. So the macro that outputs Jira tickets, and let's imagine that in this table we will have all the reporters' emails, and in the table from CSV macro that is an output from our customer CRM database, we have all the other information about our customers, company name, company address, and so on. And with the help of this macro combination, we can match records of these two tables to create a new table with a new meaning. So we use the table transformer macro first of all. This macro, with the help of SQL, matches records and adds some columns from the CRM database to our Jira table. In the pivot table macro, then we group all the data, for example, to see which companies have raised the most number of support requests. And we can also filter this pivot table and then see all the information in details. So as you can see, company name and address are added with the help of this matching. So let's move to the third part. And it's time to do some reporting magic. In this part, we will see an examples of comparing all the metrics of multiple projects, all the significant metrics. We also will see some examples of created issue graphs by weeks, currently opened issues by assignees. We also will be able to build a custom created versus resolved chart to see the current workload and see if we cope with the amount of tickets created or not. And finally, we'll see the historical data of distributing tasks by assignees. So a quick overview of our dashboard. This is project metrics. We calculated them previously in the spreadsheet. So this is one of the features that I'm going to tell you further. These are created and distribution in the current state. This is the created versus resolved issues, and the last two charts, distribution by assignee, historical data, and monthly distribution during last 3 months. Okay, so the first case here, I'm thrilled to announce this feature because we've released it a couple of months ago. This is a table spreadsheet include macro. This macro allows you to show one cell or cell range from your spreadsheet, from the table spreadsheet macro, in any other place in your Confluence. So in this example, we calculated some metrics. We may do this in different spaces, places, and so on. But for overview, we collected all these values within one table with the help of this table spreadsheet include macro. The next is the Jira issues macro. But as you may see, we built about 5 charts based on 5 Jira issues macros. And if we assume that each macro may have up to 1,000 issues, loading 5,000 issues at the same time on one Confluence page may be challenging. And of course, if you need to change JQLs, for example, or other options of our Jira issues macros, so you need to change it 5 times. 2 our macros help you to resolve this issue, table excerpt and table excerpt include. First, we wrap our source Jira table in the table excerpt macro. And at this, after that, you can refer to this table in any other place in Confluence. It works not, of course, with Jira. It works with any kind of table data. So as you can see here, we set the name for this table excerpt macro that we can type somewhere and call this table. So for this purpose, we use the table excerpt include macro. In the table excerpt include macro, we set the name, select the source, and that is it. You may know about the native excerpt and excerpt include macros, but ours have much more extended functionality because you can select different sources, current page, child pages, specific page, all pages with some labels, and it can output the results as a report. Okay, and here you can see that we have 6 6 table excerpts include macros that help us to build 5 different charts. And I'll show you one example of the configuration to build one of the charts. Again, we use our table toolbox that provides all the features for working with tables. We group data and then build a chart. And final overview of our report. Actually, I'd like to say that, first of all, you can work with any kind of tables with the help of our macros. I mean, this can be manually created tables, outputs of other macros and reports. And also you can work with different metrics such as work logs, SLAs, all the information that can be outputted in Confluence with the help of the native Jira issues macro, or combine, as I shown you, different information from different sources. Actually the app is very flexible and helps you to realize your own ideas, your own use cases. So it's a great space for creativity here. And what's next? Via this QR code, you can find a Google form where you can leave questions. And you can also find my email and links to the live demo, to our support. So please feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to help. And you can come to our booth and I'll be happy to answer my questions together with my teammate, Katerina. Thank you.